Okay. So, Tom, I've just started recording.
Okay.
So, I mean, yesterday morning, we decided something came up, and it was the question of trust. And so we wanted to look at how trust can affect, especially with entrepreneurship, because our main focus is entrepreneurship. So we wanted to go through the element of trust and how it can affect entrepreneurship.
Okay.
And we can look at it from many different angles. But in terms of people, especially people that are working together, whether they are geographically close to each other, whether they are working from different countries, they're trying to connect online and all that.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you think e-trust has an impact on entrepreneurship? We can look at e-trust again in terms of governments and all that, but in this forum we try to avoid talking about things we can't really change. Things we can have a little influence somewhere here, somewhere there, but most of the time we try to focus on things that we can actually change as individuals or as a group of people.
Yeah.
So we might leave out as using it or just to avoid talking about stuff we don't really know. We might have some opinions, but we think it's a good use of our time if we're actually focusing on the things that we can actually change.
Yeah. You know, e-trust.
Yeah.
The e-trust. It's there's a number of words that are connected to something that is called trust.
Mm-hmm.
And those words include things like belief, faith, reliability, or honesty.
Mm-hmm.
So all those words are attached to trust. And, you know, when we're talking about a businessman being trusted, we are talking about a businessman, one who is honest, who is faithful to his word, and who is consistent, and who can be relied upon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the context of entrepreneurs, and obviously you talked about people sometimes not being in the same geographical area, but at the same time people wanting to work together to try and come up with an institution or an organization.
Yeah.
I think trust. You know, we've talked about reliability and honesty and that kind of thing, but also trust is an instinct of a businessman.
Yeah.
You want to believe that the person who is saying is going to work with you is going to work with you and is going to honor their word. And so it is from that basis that in the entrepreneurs we come from. We want to believe that people of the same mind or people like-minded people, when they come together, they have, if you like, the same purpose and the same goals.
Yeah.
And because they have got the same purpose and the same goals, they want to build something together.
Yeah.
Now, you know, maybe before we can talk about building something together, you know, we have to talk about building a relationship. You know. And that relationship that we build is centered around our interest, and also our focus. You know, so it is from the way then we conduct ourselves. First, on the basis of being trusted with a blank check, if you like. Yeah. We can take the trust back to something, you know, to our main objective, which is the capital. Yeah, capital is you, capital is me, capital is your character, capital is your how you present. And so when you are thinking of capital and building your capital, trust is number one. Yeah, you have got to trust other people so that also they can trust you. And then when you come together with the character of trusting each other, it becomes easy then for you as an organization or as a group to be honest with each other, to be reliable, and to stick to your word.
Yeah.
We can use an example. For example, we used to have meetings for the Zimpreneurs. And we used to call a meeting that people should come and attend. And obviously, out of 50 people, only 5 people would attend, sometimes 6. Now, the 6 people that attended trusted the people that they were working with. They believed in the people that they were working with.
Yeah.
And because they believed in them, they turned up for the meetings, knowing that something was going to come up and knowing that these people were of the same mind with them. Yeah. I don't want to put words into other people's mind, into other people's mouths, but the other 45 or the other 40 people that did not turn up, it is most likely that they did not have trust. They did not believe in what was going to be put together and pushed forward. Yeah. So trust is connected to belief. Trust is connected to faith. And so we have to connect those three. So that's trust. And so at our level as Zimpreneurs, I know that we are always afraid of losing staff, even if we don't have staff. Yeah, we have to begin.
Afraid of losing what we don't have.
We're afraid of losing what we don't have. Exactly. Yes. I mean, we can say, for example, let's say, as an organization, we want to put aside £10 a month. Let's give that money to Derek to look after that money. Yeah. Some people will think, wow, if we give Derek £10 every month, by the end of the month, I would have paid, by the end of 10 months, I would have paid £100. So do I trust Derek with my £100? Yeah. But this person has not even started paying the £10. Yeah. They would rather use that £10 to buy, for example, a phone card to phone to outside their country. They may be in UK or they may be in Zimbabwe, or wherever, So in a month, they can buy cards, £5 each. They can buy 4 times every week. Every weekend, they buy a card for £5. So they spend £20 on the cards instead of budgeting to buy to pay £10 towards something. Now, we talked about numbers yesterday. Now, if one person were to pay £10 and there's 50 of us paying £10 at once, how much have we got? Just like that. And then if you think of it in terms of the 10 months, how much will we have in 10 months? But because we don't have belief, because we do not have faith, it's very difficult to trust Derek to be able to keep our money, because we think, Derek is going to steal my money. Even if I don't have the money in my pocket, even if I have not given you that money, because I don't have trust, it has an impact on my faith. It has an impact on my belief. And as a result, I don't do anything because I have no faith. Yeah, it's the connection between faith and trust.
Yeah, but how does one become trustworthy?
Right. Well, in terms of becoming
and
trustworthy,
you can connect that with building a personal brand and building capital.
Well, I was going to use the building capital, because if you are going to be building capital and you know that capital is you, capital is your character, then you want to be a trusted person. So if you want to be a trusted person, you got to make yourself to be trusted. So in other words, you have got to be a man of his word. You have got to be a man who can be relied upon. You have got to be a man, who takes responsibility. So that is how you build trust. So if you take responsibility for your mistakes, if you are reliable in whatever promises that you make, then that is building your character. It is your character that people then trust, because they can rely on you and they know that when you say something, you stick by it.
Yes. So I was thinking, in terms of, for example, when would you not trust someone?
Again, it comes back to your character as well. You would not trust someone because, one, they have defaulted on their promises. They have not been reliable in their service.
Yeah.
So if someone cannot be trusted or cannot keep their promise,
yes,
it is difficult then to rely on them.
So if a person is such a character that they can, for example, I'm thinking of the 45. Say out of 50 people, only 5 have decided that they want to carry on with whatever plans are being made. Would you not say that at least you've got these 5 people? Because if you look at the global trend is that only 1% of people sometimes, only 1%, okay, will control maybe 99% of the proceedings. Because the other 99% are those people who don't implement things. They have lots of ideas, but when it comes to implementing, they don't show up. It's the same. For example, the top 10% of the richest people control 90% of the resources, of the world, because those are the people who have decided that they are going to participate. So when I look at people not turning up, I think of those statistics, and I think maybe that's because, that is the natural way of things. You always get maybe 10 or 20% really doing something, really implementing, and you'll get the other 80% or 90%, feeding off of or consuming the products and services which are being provided by the 10 or 20%. So when that happened, I was thinking, so those statistics really do mean something, because a lot of people are all talk, but when it comes to implementing, they find it very challenging. So in terms of trust, sometimes it's not because they did not trust. I think sometimes just dishonesty, or just not understanding the importance of excusing yourself. So say if you can't attend something, instead of just being proactive and letting everyone know that you will not be able to attend, people will leave you to the last minute, and then they will just not turn up. And the first thing they'll do tomorrow morning is to call and say, ndakazoita busy. So that also, I think it's a form of, I think sometimes it's just being unprofessional.
Well, do you know what? I wouldn't say people are unprofessional, but what I would say is that people are fearful, and they don't know how to deal with their fear. We have talked about someone who is afraid of losing what they don't have. Fear has gripped them so much that when you ask them to do something, they are afraid of losing, even if they don't have anything. So fear is one thing that we have to fight. But then the most important thing that we need to do is to be able to know ourselves. And not only knowing ourselves, we also need to be able to conquer ourselves. Because it is ourselves, we are afraid of the things that we can perceive. So the things that we perceive, the things that we can see, are the things that we are afraid of. And so I think that if I go and gather together with the other 45 people, these people, because they are majority, they will dissuade me from what I can see, from what I understand, And so
but what
I
I've noticed,
stand to lose.
What I've noticed, Tom, is that sometimes people, for example, they might be in a place where the bandwidth and the costs of being on Skype call can be so prohibitive. But instead of letting the group know or letting people know that that is the case and that is the reason why they cannot attend, they would rather not say anything and just not turn up. Now, we might perceive that as someone is not trusting or someone is not interested, but it could be a technical issue, which maybe some people are too embarrassed just to admit to say, look, where I am, I can only use WhatsApp for texting. When you send those videos on WhatsApp, I can't even watch them. Because it all depends on their pocket as well and whether they can afford to.
But okay,
so I think the major issue here is that instead of communicating those things, so there's lack of communication. Because if there's not enough communication and we don't know what exactly is going on, the speculation is likely, to cloud our judgment about exactly why those people are not taking part.
No, but for example, if someone has got a problem with their technology for whatever reason, can you rely on them if they don't tell you that they are not going to attend the meeting? Can you depend on them?
And that's the thing. That's why I think then you do get the 10% of people who are participating.
Yeah,
are the ones who have put themselves forward. And
so the point I'm trying to make here is that if I cannot stand up and be proactive to say, guys, I cannot attend the meeting tonight because one, my bundles are too low, so I cannot afford. So you are not being honest, with your colleagues. Plus, you are not being honest with yourself as well. Because you're leaving people to speculate what has happened to you.
Yeah.
But if you are a reliable person, if you are a person that can be dependent upon, you will send a WhatsApp message to say, tonight I'm not going to be able to attend the meeting because of 1, 2, 3. So then you are a man of his own word. You have been invited to the meeting. You have declined to come to the meeting. We know that you are not coming to the meeting because you declined to come to the meeting. Sometimes you don't even have to say, I'm not coming because of this or that. But if you decline to say, I've been invited to the meeting, but I'm not coming, then people will know that always when you invite so and so to the meeting, they always say they are not coming or they are come. They come and attend the meeting. So again, that's a question of reliability. So if you're going to be trusted, you have to be a person that can be depended upon. You have to be a person that is reliable. Reliability does not necessarily mean that you always comply. Reliability means that you always communicate and state your position.
Is key, yeah?
Exactly, communication is key. So the question of trust is a very big thing that I think has affected most of us. I want to use an example here that where we come from in Africa. When we were growing up, when our elders wanted to start something like maybe a small business or something, the community would say, this thing will not go anywhere because it is being organized by a local person.
Yeah.
But then if you had to get someone coming from far, then they would say, this one will rise because they don't even know who that person is.
Yeah.
When they see the person whom they don't know, they think that person is trustworthy, is reliable, is an honest person, but they don't know that person. But there are also times, though there were also times when there was a certain group of people who, when they said they were going to put up a shop, they did put up a shop, and in that shop, they consistently sold bread, they consistently sold milk, to the extent that the whole community knew that if there was no milk anywhere else, you would find milk at so-and-so's shop. If there was no bread anywhere else, you will find bread at so-and-so's shop. So that person or that shopkeeper had created, if you like, trust within the community because they had been reliable.
Yes. But don't you think, though, that it's a good thing if you invite 50 people and only 5 turn up? Is that not a good thing? Because at least you're eliminating those people, those 45, right at the start of the project. Because they might pretend to participate in the first few meetings. And then down the line, when you've made concrete steps, they don't show up. So is it not elimination by natural selection?
Well, exactly. Do you know what? I wouldn't say you have eliminated, but they have eliminated themselves.
Exactly. So they've eliminated themselves in good time because you don't want them halfway through the project when you need them the most, and then they are not going to show up.
Exactly. Do you know? I mean, when we talk about wanting to do things. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do that. Isn't it?
Yeah.
And we can get into a bus load, and all of us in the bus can say, "I want to do that. I want to do that. I want to do that." Isn't it? But there is a time when you have to stop talking and begin doing.
Mm-hmm.
So the doers will begin to do.
Yes.
And the talker continue talking.
Mm.
And so I would say those 5 people that turned up out of 50, those are the doers. Those are the people who wanted to do something. And they were ready to stand up and do something.
Yeah.
Then the other 45 still wanted to talk about, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. Yes, we have heard that now, but now we're at a stage where we need to implement. So yes, to some extent, it is good that you have those 5 people who want to do something and they get on to do it.
Yes.
But also, if we go back to yesterday's topic about numbers, if we had 50 people doing, the task will be much, much lighter than when it was being done by 5 people.
Yeah.
So the question of numbers now comes in. So with those 50 people or those 45 people could count. You know what I'm saying? Then they would understand that if I went in with 50 people, I'm in a better position to succeed than if I went in on my own or went in with 5 people. So it brings us back to counting.
Yes.
Because if you could count, then you would not be afraid of saying, if I put 10 pounds there, I'll lose. Because there will be other 49 people that would have put 10 pounds as well, just like you. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we can also look at, can we think of the reasons why people would not trust, say, putting 10 pounds? Is it because there is a lack of maybe a transparent system in place so that people can rest assured? Because remember, we're dealing with strangers. So I would not, I know we need to trust, okay? But also, if you look at the fact that we're all complete strangers, when we start something, say we're starting something like we started with Entrepreneurs, don't you think that maybe if there is a transparent payment structure, maybe a bank account is set up, maybe there is a proper constitution and stuff like that, that would give people a little bit more confidence in
right, but look, right. We are talking about constitution. We are talking about proper structure. I mean, we are starting. We don't have anything. We need to come together to be able to put those things together. Yeah. So those things we have to begin by trusting each other before we can put the constitution in place. Putting up a constitution is not an issue. I think the most important thing here that people need to have or to think about is, what is your goal? What is your aim? What do you want to get out of this? What do you want to achieve? We've talked in the past about the mindset and the change of the mindset. Your mindset will not change until you get to a stage where you are tired, yeah, or until you get to your wit's end, where you say, "What do I do now?" You're prepared to do anything, yeah. Now you come together with the 50 people whom you have not met before, whom you don't know, but then you're saying, "Let us build together. This is what we want to build. Our goal is this." Now it brings you back to the question of trust. If you have a goal, you don't have to worry then how you are going to achieve your goal, but you have that goal and you are working towards goal. Now there's these other 50 people that are saying they have the same goal. They want to go to where you're going, isn't it? So it's like hiring a taxi then, isn't it?
Yes.
If you're in Harare and you want to go to Blawayo, the taxi driver tells you that to drop you in Blawayo, I'll need you to pay £400. Yeah. And then there's these other people that are with that can fit in the taxi. For example, maybe another 10 more people who are going to Blawayo as well. Yeah. So instead of you paying the £400 on your own, you only have to pay £40 or £40 or $40. Yeah. Then the other money is paid by other people. So this is the exactly same concept. So we build the structures when we have come together.
Yeah.
Because we can't start by building structures because we don't even know each other. We don't even know our strength. We don't even know our expertise. We don't even know who we're capable of what. But when we come together and obviously have meetings like we're having now, then it is those meetings then that we come up with say, oh, this guy is very good at this guy is very good at this. Or sometimes we even say, my expertise are in this area, in this area, in that area. And then other people can say, my expertise is in this area, in this area, in this area. Then we can give each other tasks based on our areas of expertise and knowledge. And so we then build an institution like that. But then that institution is built by people who have trusted each other, by people who have believed in each other. Maybe I wanted to use a very crude example here, but maybe I should know it, But a young man, when a young man is he meets a woman, he just sees the outside of the woman, he sees the face of the woman, sees the dress of the woman, and says, "Oh, this is a beautiful woman, isn't it?" And he proposes the woman. "Oh, I think we can be friends. I think and it is from there that he says, "I want us to be friends," and they begin to be friends, and eventually some people go on to get married. Some people, they don't even get to start on a relationship.
Yes.
Yeah. So those are the things that maybe we need to be thinking about. I mean, I can refer you to chapter 11 of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Okay. So chapter 11, I'm not going to say what it says here, but it's about transmutation of something,
Yeah.
So if you think about that, when you want to do something, when you want so much to do something, nothing will stop you from doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think also it's I think as people interact, they are looking at what you're doing, because some people can be really good at expressing their views and plans and all that. But I think most people look at what you do instead of what you're saying. So what you say might give people a lot of hope, but the test comes when it comes to doing.
Yeah.
And I think attending a meeting is part of that.
Yeah.
So are you able to, when we say there's a meeting, are you able to tell us that you can either attend or you cannot attend?
Simple.
Or you tell us the 2 days later to say, sorry guys, I got tied up. But you could have told us 5 minutes before, even 5 minutes before the meeting is better than... Some people would even give an excuse halfway through the meeting, which is still better than others who never say anything. But maybe they are the most vocal when it comes to complaining that this is not being done, so they expect someone else to be doing that. So I think when it comes to group project, it's people are always looking at what you're doing. They're always looking at your personal input. They are watching what you do instead of listening. people stop listening once they've seen what sort of actions you take or you don't take. So they might be listening, and then eventually they think, "Oh, this person is all talk."
Right.
And then they stop listening. Yeah.
Yeah. So the most important thing here is action.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to back your talking with action. And so it is from the actions, it's from your actions that people will begin to trust you. People will begin to talk about you, to say, this person can be depended upon. This person is reliable. This person is honest. So then they can tell, we know this person's character because he's a dependable person. We can depend on him because of the things that he has said and the things that he has done.
Yeah. Can we? Yeah? I think we've sort of touched on quite a few things there. But if there are any questions from viewers and all that, and if they put them in the comment section, we can always do another video to address that. I wanted us to move on to something else, but I think let's start a new video instead of carrying on, because this one is already half an hour. So I'm going to stop this one, and then we start another video in the next 2 minutes.
Okay.